Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hey You Guys YouTube channel. It has been a hot, we are back. Happy 2023. I think we've done one before. I can't remember. I don't know. Anyway, hello and welcome back. Scott Davis here, joined as ever by the lovely Linda Marric.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Okay, we saw each other last night, so let's
We saw each other
let's
last night at the time of,
drop the
at the time of
pretense.
recording. We did see each other last night and thought, let's do another one because we
Yeah,
haven't done one for a while. And for various
yeah.
different reasons, we haven't been able to, but we thought, why not to celebrate the return of this
Of
man?
mhm.
John Wick, the four is in cinemas this Friday, and everyone is very, very excited. And we were at a screening last night, a multimedia screening. It was critics, journalists, influencers, loads of everything. It was a
Mhm.
packed house, and it was probably the best way to see a film like this
Yeah,
because
absolutely,
the audience went
100%.
absolutely nuts
Yeah,
for it. Shout out to Amon Warman, who I could hear laughing the whole way through the film, and he was
yeah,
only
me too.
I don't know where he was sitting. He was sitting, might have been sitting a mile away, but I could still hear him. So hello, Amon. But everyone seemed to enjoy it. So this is chapter four. Obviously, there's been three more before this. Probably need to see them to see chapter four. However, it is an action movie, so you could probably dive in and
I think
enjoy it
it
for.
works as a
But
standalone. Yeah, I think it.
yeah, but for the history of the character, I guess
Yeah,
you
yeah,
need to have seen the first three. But you could probably jump into it and enjoy the mayhem that
yeah.
happens in this film. I'm a huge fan of these series of films,
Me
not
too.
least because I do like Keanu Reeves, and this is very much tailored to him and his skill set, shall we say, as an actor and as a performer, and as a semi stuntman, I guess, in this scenario, in the sense that he's very much like Tom Cruise. He kind of wants to jump in and do as much as he can, and that pays dividends in the films previously and in this one as well. Uh,
Well,
Linda,
yeah,
we were sitting next to each other. You seem
mhm,
to enjoy it.
yeah,
So, where do you sit on the franchise? And is
yeah.
this
I mean,
a worthy part
let's
four?
face it, the whole sort of character of John Wick is written around Keanu Reeves.
Of
You know,
course,
it
yeah.
wouldn't work with any other actor, and I think if they tried, there'll be a riot. So, I love these movies. I really love them because they capture the sort of the true essence of martial art movies, like really old, like classic martial art movies, without pretense, without sort of adding like a sprinkle of sort of worthiness to it. And I love that. I mean, it's very violent, and you know, like that is. I think that's the ethos of it. But you know where you get in, and oh, you've gone away.
Well, that's just
You've
my
gone.
camera.
Okay, sorry. Yeah. So you know where you get in. You know when you sit down to watch a John Wick movie, you know exactly what to expect. I think this one is a lot more crowd pleasing, more knowing than the first three. Shall we even give like a small synopsis? I think most people know what it is. I mean, it's basically.
Yeah, his continued battle against the table and the people that ostensibly he was out and they pulled him back in because
Yeah,
of his wife and his dog. That's in that
yeah, exactly.
part one.
This is all.
It's part four. He's against the people that want him dead essentially, and the
Yeah,
bounty on his head is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger
yeah,
because he just seemingly cannot
yeah.
be killed.
And this time, the villain is a very interesting villain. It's a comedy villain, as I call it. Bill Skarsgård with absolutely
Skarsgård, yeah.
ridiculous accent. An accent that can't decide whether it is German or French or Swedish, or,
Yeah.
which actually really campy. It puts in a very campy, completely sort of with scenery chewing performance and perfect. I think he really read that character brilliantly well. I mean, it's like it's sort of it's a universe that's like that is like a suspended reality. So it doesn't really matter. You could be scenery chewing all you like because that's what the role really demands from you. So yeah, I loved him, and I think and also Lance Reddick, R.I.P., who is in the film but not that much in the movie. So
Yeah, he's been in
yeah,
the previous three, so if you've seen the previous three, you know what his
yeah,
role is. It was never a big, huge role in the first instance, but
yeah,
it's a role that serves a purpose to the story. And yeah,
yeah,
very, very sad that it's
yeah.
happened. regardless of whether the film was coming out or not. But the fact that
Yeah, no, it's very sad, very,
he
very sad, and then, like,
is very, very
and
sad.
anyone that
But this is a great celebration of him as
of
well. So
him,
that's
yeah, yeah.
a good thing. But yeah, Alexander Skarsgård does chew the scenery. It's very much in keeping with the tone of the
Uh,
film, which is it's
yeah,
light and
Bill,
very.
Bill Skarsgård.
What did I say?
Bill, you said Alexander.
Oh, but
Yeah,
yeah, Bill
his
Skarsgård.
brother.
Helen Skarsgård, the Skarsgårds. Um,
Too many of
uh,
them.
yeah, he's very good. It's great to see Donnie Yen as ever doing what Donnie Yen
Oh, brilliant.
does.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Fishburne and Ian McShane sporting a lovely new set of teeth by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But, it is like with all the other John Wick movies. It is exactly what it says on the tin. You know exactly what you're getting into, and it's built up enough kind of currency in terms of the series. I mean, I think as the series has gone on, it's grossed more and more money, so it's had to become crowd pleasing in a certain way. Like you say, it's had to become that because it's obviously made a lot of
Yeah.
money and has gained a lot of fan base over the years since. And obviously, number three, I think, was the biggest of all of them. So number four, obviously, has gone bigger and bigger. And we talk about
I,
sequels and everything else. I think because this is the fourth one, it can allow itself to go as crazy and
oh yeah,
as
yeah, it's
big
absolutely.
and bold
I was going to
and
say to
crass as
you,
it wants to be.
I was going to say, Scott, I think this is the very first one that I've seen with such a big audience.
Mm,
All of the first three I've seen in like, on a big screen, but in a smaller audiences, but at like national press shows and stuff. And
yeah,
and I think it is really to be enjoyed with that many people. I mean, like if you're someone who doesn't really like expression, I mean, can you imagine this film in American theater? Oh my God, that it would go even
that's,
so.
it'll go up.
British
It'll go up
audiences
again. Yeah,
audiences are normally very restrained, and even then, people just roll like whooping and clapping and laughing. So it's a proper cinematic experience. Like Marvel, who I have to say, like it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot more
Okay.
enjoyable than anything Marvel has released since Phase 4.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, crazily enjoyable. And we talk about cinema in terms of the after the pandemic and people going back to cinemas. This is the perfect kind of thing for old audiences, shall we say?
yeah,
This
yeah,
obviously
yeah,
is
yeah.
not for kids. This is not a Marvel movie or anything like that. This is not for kids. This is for adults. Um,
Mm.
and it's a perfect film for it in terms of that. It knows exactly what it is now. After three films, it knows exactly what it does, and they've just you know gone as crazy and as mad as they can, but in keeping with John Wick, which is that it's a very physical, very brutal, very in camera kind of action movie, very old school in that sense. And juxtaposed with Marvel and
Yeah,
CGI and these crazy Fast and Furious films where they go to space and all that kind of stuff. It's so
yeah, yeah,
good to
yeah,
see a movie like this, like Top Gun last year, which obviously is a different movie, but at the core of it, it's about the experience of being at the cinema. And the best way to do that is to try and do these things for real. And the great thing with this is, even though, yes, there is CGI and
yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
stuntmen, everything else, it's mainly all in camera. And I think that gives it such a unique energy in amongst all of these big summer movies we're going to get and Marvel movies where it is all about the CGI. Obviously, they're different. Marvel is about superheroes and going to space and universes and infinity stones and whatever
Yeah.
else. But it's nice to have a film like this which juxtaposes that and shows you that
Uh,
cinema like this is still alive and kicking. And if you do it right, people will turn out in their droves to see it.
and it's very innovative as well. I mean, there is there's a slight spoil. It's not spoiler really. There's one sequence in it which as soon as I say it, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. There's a whole sequence, a fight sequence towards the end of the movie that is filmed right from the top, and it looks very much like a shoot 'em up sort of game. And I just think that is okay. Probably they're not probably the first people to do it, but I just found it very enjoyable. And it was done how it deserves to be done, with sort of it stunk firmly in cheek. And I really admire anyone who sort of I think they know their crowd, and that is very admirable, really.
Yeah, you said the technical aspect of that, because there's part of that. I think most of that is all one continuous shot, and then it
Yeah,
cuts
one can see. Yeah,
other
yeah, yeah.
shots. So it's almost one shot, but there is one part of it that is a very long sequence that is one shot, and that's a great thing as well. And there's a couple of sequences in these aren't spoilers, but some of the movies it takes place in Paris, and there's a few sequences there where you're just like, wow, this is crazy. Yes, obviously
Incredible.
there's some CGI augmentation here and there and everything else, but the key elements of it are all done physically. Keanu is doing all the bits that he can, up to a point that he can do. The stuntmen obviously doing a lot of their stuff as well. And I think there's
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
then the stuff throughout the film that just shows that, you know, that kind of physicality people like to see now and again, because we're so used to these big CGI spectacles that sometimes it's nice to see one that even though it's very tongue in cheek and very much of a certain style and everything else, the fact that they all want to treat it seriously by doing everything themselves and doing all the stunts gives it such a great kind of edge that, you know, isn't really, we haven't really seen, like last year with Top Gun Maverick. There's a real kind of cinematic experience to be had by looking at it, and while there's certain things that can't be possible, much as can be possible in camera is done in camera,
Yeah,
and I think that's
yeah,
that's great, and it feels very old school. And you know, maybe that's a lesson to be learned, that sometimes, you know, even in 2023 where there's all these great CGI advancements and everything else, that sometimes doing it for real, audiences really take to that. And I think that's why John Wick
uh,
over the four films has gained bigger and bigger audiences, because it is very
yeah.
different to everything else.
Well, I think what I also like about it is like the absence of pretense that you're
Mm,
doing something really deep and stuff. I think the lack of subtlety really works here, because that's what the premise and the script demands.
yeah,
So yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's done. That's how you do it. I mean, I think it takes the joke a bit too far in some instances, like a certain I'm not going to give anything away, but on the whole I think it's a huge crowd pleaser. Like honestly, this is going to destroy everything else that's on the box office at the moment.
yeah.
It'll be number one by the weekend, pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And they'll, you know, I think the third film did like 60-70 million dollars opening weekend. This could easily crack
Yeah,
100 million, which if it does is testament
yeah,
um to everybody that's made it. And obviously, like I think I said this last night to somebody, you know, it's part four of a franchise. When you get to part four, you know, you've kind of found your footing, but also if people don't know what you're trying to make and what you're trying to achieve and the story, you know, what you're trying to do with the movie, then you're never going to get into it. And this, you know,
exactly.
there's no subtlety with that. But this is a film that doesn't need subtlety. It's an action movie,
No,
and it's a very old school action movie, and it doesn't shy away from the fact that it knows it's that, and it leans into all of that, which I think is great. And it allows it to be the best possible film it could possibly be. And this, you
yeah.
know, going into it, just be aware, if you don't know already, it's 2 hours 49 minutes, and you certainly get your money's worth. That's all I'm going to
Yeah, yeah,
say.
you do,
And
you
it
do.
is it
What
is
was your
relentless, but in the
yeah?
best possible way.
What was your favorite fight sequence location? Like, because there are they go
There's a
from yeah,
sequence in Paris on a very famous set of steps that's pretty cool, and there's
yeah,
a
okay.
famous landmark in Paris where there's a sequence, and that's pretty cool. But I think I think the standout one is the series of events that leads, basically the third act in Paris. I think most of that is probably my favorite. That's like an
I
hour of the
liked
film. Do you know what I mean? I think most of that is just, some of it is just absolutely incredible for what they've managed to do, and it's,
yeah.
yeah, I think testament to everybody that's made it, that they've been able to accomplish some of that, because some of it is absolutely
It's just
phenomenal.
incredible. I really liked the Tokyo
Yeah, it's hard to pick
like
a favorite. I think that
section. It
everything that's done in
really
it is done. But I think that last act, where, you know, you'll see when you see it, you'll see what happens and everything else. I think that
yeah.
really made it for me. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
good a shout out to the dog as well.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
this film,
There's a
full
dog.
circle in some respects. You
Best
know, it
dog.
starts with a dog, ends with a dog, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
There's
no,
one
brilliant.
joke that the audience went absolutely mental for, that it revolves around the dog. But you'll have to wait and see that. Go and
See,
see it,
but
and
see, I don't think that joke was needed, but I can see
maybe
why
not.
it
But
was
again,
put there.
part four of a
Yeah,
franchise as crazy as
yeah,
this,
yeah.
it's like, yeah, that's cool. And obviously, yeah, this all started with a dog, so why not kind of
Yeah.
finish with a
No, it
funny
was good. It was good.
dog thing.
It was
So
good.
yeah, there you go. John Wick 4 is in cinemas this Friday.
Friday. Oh, maybe Thursday. I don't know. Is it
Might
Friday?
be Thursday
Thursday.
night
Could
screenings,
be.
maybe, but I think it's the 24th. But yeah, they're somewhere. Obviously, with these things, there's usually sometimes
Yeah,
Thursday
exactly.
night
Yeah.
showings, but I don't know where that is. But you'll find it, and I'm sure it's on your radar. If you're watching
Yeah.
this, it's probably on your radar. I think everybody of the right age is going to go and seek out
And you
John Wick
know
4.
what? That doesn't matter what we say about it. It's still going to do really well. It's
It
still,
doesn't matter. We could have
it
sat here
almost
and,
doesn't really
yeah,
need our review,
it
but
doesn't it
we're
doesn't
here.
need our approval. Yeah, it's one of those movies. It's built
Yeah.
up a franchise. It doesn't need us to say it's
Yeah.
good, but we will say it's good
Okay,
because
go
that's what
ahead.
we do. Uh,
What's
I've slept on it, and I think because of the experience, I'm gonna give it 5 stars.
Okay. I'm between 4 and 5, so I'm gonna go
Yeah, I was
4.5.
between 4 and 5, but
Yeah.
I was like, we don't do halves. There's no halves here. So I
Yeah,
would
they don't
probably
do
I
half.
would probably give it if it was 9 out of 10, I would have given it 9 out of 10. But I think
Okay. Yeah,
because
me
of
too.
the experience in terms of star ratings, I'll give it
Yeah.
5 stars
I
because
think yeah.
what it is, what it does, and everything else is the perfect rendition of
Yeah, you're
what it
right. Yeah.
wants to
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
So, and I'm not, again, we sit here, we've done this before, and we spoke about this, and many of our colleagues over the country talked about what the 5 star means and everything else. We're not saying it's a masterpiece. 5 stars
It's a
is a
feeling. It's how
indicator
you
of
feel.
people,
Do you feel like,
but I feel
you
this is
know?
a 5 star experience of a movie, and
Yeah.
we've had quite a long run recently of these kind of bigger movies not delivering.
Mm.
This delivers, and I think the experience of watching it with a crowd just makes it even better. So
Yeah. Yeah.
there we go.
Okay.
We're on a par.
There you
We're on
go.
a par.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
again, it doesn't
yeah. I
matter what
mean,
we have to
I
say.
was
It doesn't matter what we
honestly,
have to say,
I
but
was
it is.
I was hesitant between 4 and 5, and the one thing that sort of cemented like the four for me was the fact that it was maybe 20 minutes too long. But then, as you say, you get your money's worth. You know?
Yeah, they've just gone full pelt with this and just gone.
Yeah.
It's up for whatever. Just do it. And the studio, obviously, because these aren't. This isn't a film that costs 250, $300 million, is it? It's not that kind of thing. It's probably expensive because of everything that's in it, but the risk is worth it for that, and also the fact that it's the fourth film. They've just gone. This is what we're doing, and yeah, I think. Then I don't know if there's. I think the
Uh,
next thing is
yeah, I
that
was going
there's
to
going to be
ask you.
the spin off with Ballerina, which I think comes out either
Oh,
later this
yeah,
year
yeah,
or
yeah.
early next year with Anna de Armas, which is a spin off of this, which I think
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is kind of in. I don't know the ins and outs, but
Is there going
um,
to be a fifth?
it money talks. Let's just say that
Okay, let's see.
money talks. If there's money made in this one, which there will be, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's hard. Franchises are hard to ignore, but also I feel like with this particular franchise, they might know when to stop rather than
Mm.
just keep pummeling a dead horse, as in like go out
Yeah,
on a
yeah, yeah.
high. This is what they're going to go out on a high, and maybe doing Ballerina with Anna de Armas, doing a female centric version in that universe that has Keanu part of it or not part of it. I think
Mm.
that's a good way to go. But I think if this was to be the last one, it's a good final chapter, isn't it? But again, money talks, franchises, money,
Yeah,
etc.
yeah.
So
And
remember
look out
Keanu,
for
he's like
absolutely. Yeah,
Keanu's
go
not
on.
getting any younger, is he? Same as Tom
No,
Cruise.
no,
Any
he's
younger,
not.
are they? So do they want to put
Well,
themselves through that
none of
again?
them are. And also,
Yeah.
like, look out for an absolutely insane sequence in a Berlin techno club, which is
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
ridiculous.
featuring the great Scott Adkins, as you've never seen
Yeah.
him before.
Mm.
So I think he watches our channel, so that's always fun. But
Okay.
yeah, there's yeah, this color scheme is nothing to what you see on the screen. I mean, we
Yeah.
didn't even touch on that, but you have to shout out to Chad Stahelski and all the technical, filmmakers behind it to not just have done
Yeah.
the stunt stuff, but to make it look as amazing as it does. It's drenched in this neon. It's really well shot. I mean, it's just for what it
Yeah.
is. It's a great action movie, and it's shot
Yeah.
so
So yeah,
brilliantly.
it's a
So
thumbs up from us, but you don't need us
really,
to tell you that.
really
I
else to
mean,
tell you. You're
it's
going to go see it. Of course you are.
go
So
see it.
John Wick 4 is in cinemas this Friday. I'm sure you're
Yeah.
going to go and check it out. And yeah, as ever, we're going to try and do some more of these now that we're back up and
We are, we
running.
are, we are.
Award season is over and all of that mad mayhem is out the way. We might be back next week to talk about the latest attempt to bring Dungeons and Dragons to the big screen.
Oh, have
Tried it
you
a
seen it
couple of
yet?
times. I have seen it,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, me
No
too.
spoilers.
Yeah.
This is
But we
well, they've
know
done it before,
it's
but
not
this is
embargoed, so
it's
we
not
can say.
embargoed, but
Oh,
yeah. So my review on how you guys are going to go up week of release, I'll probably be up in the next few days
yeah,
or sort of
yeah.
whatever. But
Oh
we will
no,
do a
I'm
video
looking forward to
next.
speaking about that actually
We'll do a
because
video review for that next week, and we might also talk down the line about Super Mario Brothers, maybe, and Air is coming in a
oh
couple of
yeah,
weeks. Ben Affleck and get some really good reviews out of South by Southwest. So hopefully we'll talk about that
yeah,
as well. If you don't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the Hey You Guys channel and give this video a little thumbs up. Lots of cool content going up in the next few weeks, including a chat with Mario and Luigi, I believe,
Yeah.
Chris Pratt and
Oh.
Charlie Day. So stay tuned for that and some other things here and
And
there.
you know, also if you want to comment and tell us, so what
Yeah, comment
else would you
below.
like us?
Watch the videos.
Tell
Do
us
you want
what
us to
else you'd
review
like us
something?
to talk about, and
Yeah. Do you want us to
it
do
doesn't have to
reviews? Do
just
you
be
want
a
us to talk
review.
about news and stuff like that? Whatever you want, let us know below. Loads of good stuff going on. Hey, you guys, as ever, it's a busy. It's never quiet in you guys. Hey, you guys terms. Yeah, make sure you like and follow us on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're doing some stuff on TikTok now, which is good. And yeah, loads of stuff going up. And you can follow me and Linda on the relevant social medias as well. I am at Scotty
On
Wrights
everything.
Film. Linda is at Linda Marric.
Linda_Marric on Twitter, Linda Marric on Instagram, and Linda Marric on
And
TikTok.
you guys are all on those things as well. But yes, we will be back hopefully next week to talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Until then, have a lovely weekend. Enjoy John Wick.
And we shall see you soon. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey!